Hey guys, check it out. Josh here with Carl's Mower and Saw, and today we're going to take a look at the STIHL MS 180C chainsaw. You picked one up, way to go. You needed a small, lightweight, easy, did you see that? Easy to start chainsaw. You've got shore shoulders, I believe they're called sore shoulders, and you can't pull the rope anymore. We're going to talk about this saw, one of my favorite little saws. I get made fun of by people like, why do you like such a little puny chainsaw? I love it because it starts easy, it's lightweight, and honestly, it's got great power for cutting the small stuff, for limbing. You know, you're going out and you're firewood cutting and you have your STIHL MS 362 or MS 462, or maybe you're really cool and have an MS 500i, but sometimes you just want something light that you can strip the limbs with or reach and do some pruning sort of work, and that's where the STIHL MS 180C comes in. Let's go over today some of the basics, what you need to know, and before we dive in, one of the best things you can do is probably browse through the owner's manual. Let's talk about some of the safety stuff that you need to know, how to properly fall a tree or be aware of your surroundings, and how to evacuate the area if things go sideways. And then on top of that, let's get our safety stuff in line. I like the STIHL ProMark helmet or X-Vent helmet. Gives me the head protection I need, gives me the ear protection, as well as full face protection. So if you don't have one, you should be looking at a STIHL helmet system when you're out cutting firewood. And next would be chaps. This is a must. This is always, even though it seems like it's a pain in the butt at times to put on these chaps. These chaps right here are 6 layers of material kind of on top of each other in a checkerboard pattern. Think of quilt batting, if you know what that looks like. It's not really quilt batting, but that's what's inside this, is something like this. So when this cutter tooth hits the chaps, it shreds and immediately stops the chain, avoiding a very expensive or costly trip to the ER and maybe worse. We don't want to see that happen to you. So think safety before you grab a chainsaw and go to work. Now let's fire it up. Let's talk about what we need to do when it comes to gas and oil. Bar oil, okay? Bar oil is going to go in this front tank. Every time I fill the gas, I'm going to put bar oil in. We've got the STIHL Platinum at Carl's Mower and Saw, as well as the wood cutter, or we have the bio oil if you're cutting in a sensitive area and over a waterway or something like that. That's pretty important. When it comes to the mix, I'm either going to run the STIHL Moto Mix, or I'm going to run my STIHL HP Ultra with 1 gallon of ethanol-free fuel. If ethanol-free fuel is hard for you to find, that's where this Moto Mix really shines. It just makes it simple and easy. We've got them in quarts and gallons. So fuel there, bar oil here. Chain tensioning. Kind of one of the first things we should know is kind of how to tension the chain or how to change the chain. So let me get down on my knees here and let's take a look at this. This is different than most chainsaws, right? You're used to maybe when you go and you look at a chainsaw and you have to tension the chain, you're used to seeing a bar nut or 2 bar nuts right here, and this doesn't have one. What's that all about? This is my bar nut. This is nothing new. STIHL's had this easy chain tensioning system since the early 2000s, so somewhere in the 20-year range, and it's proven to work really well on the right chainsaws, especially if you understand how it functions and what it's like. So I flip this tab out, and this is now my bar nut, so it's a toolless. I loosen the cover like so, and I can take the cover off. There's the cover in my hand, no tools, didn't need that. Get rid of it. This gear looking thing is my chain tensioner, and that aligns with this black plastic roll wheel on the top. So when I spin this, I'm moving this and I'm either tightening or loosening the chain. So you see how that chain is loose? If this cover were on and I were to rotate that forward, I would tighten the chain like so. Pretty slick, really pretty slick. So let's pop this off and you'll see there's nothing super fancy about this chain tensioner. This is a normal STIHL bar, just a little different cover and a little different how it runs. There's 1 screw on the back. You see that screw right there? That screw, for some reason, occasionally we see those get loose, and when those screws get loose, or when that screw gets loose, this wheel has some movement in it, and all of a sudden things get a little sloppy, and your chain tensioner may not work as designed. So keep an eye on that. Also, don't forget to rotate the bar. So see right now the steel is face up, and people with OCD, it just feels really good when it's facing the right way. But your bar should be rotated because you're wearing the bar then evenly. When you do that, you do need to take that screw loose, flip this gear over to this side, and put it in. Only one of these holes is threaded, so don't be confused when it doesn't stay in. Let's put this chain on. So we're going to set the bar on the stud. We're going to loosen it all the way up or back it all the way up so that gap is the smallest it can be. Put the chain on the sprocket in the back. Make sure the brake is off so that the clutch can spin freely. I will then usually take it back off of the stud, putting it around the tip of the bar and putting it in place like so. So we're good. We have bar on, tensioning up, make sure it hits the back groove of the bar. I'll usually hold it in with my finger like so and tighten. Now it's not going to be all the way tight, but good enough that now we can put the cover on. Okay, see how this chain is loose? I simply take this black knob here, rotate it forward. As soon as we have contact with bar and I bottom this out, I just tighten the bar knot. Done. Easy, super easy, no tools. So if you're out in the woods and your chain gets loose, you need to retension it, or if it's time for a new chain because you hit the dirt, how frustrating is that? It's dull. Simple. Let's talk about starting real quick. Some confusion happens here. Some things that cause people to flood these machines, and they come into Carl's and we'll pull the rope like 30 times to unflood it. And you're all embarrassed because you're like, how did I do that? It happens. It happens to the best of us. So I want to help you avoid that today. To start, squeeze the trigger all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way down to 4. Make sure the brake is on. Either leg lock it or put it on the ground with your foot in there, like so. Bam. I like the leg lock. And I'm going to pull this 2 times. Yeah, that's it, 2 times. That's usually the magic number on this. And it's going to be a nice, easy pull. It's not going to be a, see how that didn't work? Just doesn't work. Leg lock it, easy pull. 2 pulls, manually up 1 notch like so. Pull the rope again, it's going to start. It's going to be going at a high rate of speed. I click the trigger, it returns to idle. Let it warm up, break off, go to town. There you go. In a nutshell, the STIHL MS 180, kind of how to start it, how to adjust the chain. Let's talk real quick about air filter that's hiding under this cover. I'm going to take my scrinch, quarter turn, pull the cover off. I have my spark plug and my air filter. Keep an eye on this air filter. It's doing a lot of work. It's stopping a lot of dirt. When it starts looking ugly, throw a new one in. They're cheap enough. And your spark plug right here on the top. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for getting a quick run over of the STIHL MS 180 chainsaw. You're going to love it. If you have questions or concerns, stop by Carl's Mower and Saw. We've got all kinds of experts on staff here to help you get the most out of your STIHL chainsaw. We'll see you soon.